Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Theorist, here with your host, JC Botero, 67, aka Vanity Pride. Before we get to this Tower of God review, I do want to make one announcement. It's super cool. So, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there is a Tower of God fan dub on YouTube, and it's under Dr. Bonehead. So, that's the channel that you want to look for. I will provide a link below. But yeah, and I'm actually very honored to be a part of the project as well. I'm voicing Roselle, and it's a really cool project. You guys have to check it out. So basically, it's taking like the Tower of God comic panels and, you know, kind of putting some animation to it and like awesome sound effects, and of course, amazing voice actors. So I'm very honored to be a part of such an amazing cast and crew, because Dr. Bonehead, he plays Bomb, and he's awesome because he tackles so much. I mean, he's voicing the main character, and then he's in charge of, you know, getting all the voice recordings from us and, you know, doing the whole editing and producing and directing, basically. So he's you know, the man with the big guns. So thank you, Dr. Bonehead, for letting me be part of the project. And thank you for blessing all of us and all fans of Tower of God with this amazing dub. So yeah, check it out, guys. Check it out. All right. Also, one quick thing too before we jump into this chapter review. I did want to focus a little bit on that name that Rachel chose, Icarus. I believe I pronounced it wrong the last time, but we all know that I'm like the master of pronouncing things wrong. So anyway, I had wanted to do a little research, but I never got around to it last chapter. And I mean, we know last chapter, the last chapter review was pretty long, so I didn't need to drag it out more. So I saved the whole name connection thing for right now. So I'm just going to read this intro part to the whole Wikipedia article, because this is where like the foundation for where I kind of got my ideas here. So, in Greek mythology, Icarus is the son of the master craftsman Daedalus. Probably pronounced that wrong, guys, I'm sorry. The creator of the labyrinth. Often depicted in art, Icarus and his father attempt to escape from Crete by means of wings that his father constructed from feathers and wax. Icarus's father warns him first of complacency, and then of hubris, asking that he fly neither too low nor too high, so the sea's dampness did not clog his wings or the sun's heat melt them. Icarus ignored his father's instructions not to fly too close to the sun. When the wax in his wings melted, he tumbled out of the sky and fell into the sea, where he drowned. Now, here's where I draw my connections, because if you think about it, think back to first season with Rachel and Bomb during that submerged fish test. He basically got pushed out of like that circle thing that they were in, and he got pushed into water, meaning that he kind of drowned in a sense. Okay, of course everyone believed that Bomb did not survive the test and died, which is not true at all, obviously. So my connection with that was like, okay, so Rachel is kind of in a sense Icarus. Of course she chose that name, and you know, she's kind of reaching for the stars. That's the reason why she's choosing to climb the tower. So that's how I drew the connection of her and Icarus, you know? And then the connection that I drew of Icarus with Bomb was the fact that, you know, Rachel meant everything to him. He was in that dark underground place, and Rachel found him, and they became really good friends. And so for me, Rachel kind of represents the sun. And because Bomb was drawn so close to her, and again, going back to the submerged fish test, she ended up pushing him into the waters so he could drown and die. So that's why I feel like Bomb has a very deep connection with this Icarus character as well. Like the mythological character. I mean, not Icarus Rachel, even though, yes, that makes sense. It's a lot of stuff to take in, but yeah, that's kind of the connections I drew there. So I thought it was a very interesting name choice on SIU's part. So that's it about Icarus. So back to the actual deal here. So we're looking at Season 2, Episode 278 of Tower of God. And of course, we began with a recap where, they are going to meet the data human of Kun Edwan, which Kun Agaro, of course, is in total shock. And so I want to read this conversation here. So this is Coffee Addict. What's wrong? Is it because you're from the Kun family? Don't worry, that's the data from back when he was a regular, so he won't recognize you anyway. And the bomb. And then Kun is like, well, I suppose so, but... And then he's thinking to himself, damn it, I don't really want to meet that guy. So you can tell that Kun is pretty disappointed. He does not want to see his father. I mean, I guess we don't know a lot of the history between Kun and his dad, but we just know that it's not that great. And again, Kun wants to become the family head. So Kun has his reasons. All right. So I do want to point out that a fellow YouTuber, Haku of the Tubes, he does Tower of God reviews too. You guys probably watch those. If not, you should check him out. But in his previous live reaction video, he had mentioned that he thought that the teams were going to split into two groups, which makes sense. And it actually does happen. So kudos to you, my man, for getting that right. So basically, Coffee Addict is splitting them up into Team A, which will consist of Coffee Addict, Kun, Bomb, and Andrasi. And then Team B will be Boro, Sachi, Hockney, Rock, Battis, and Medley. And the reason why Coffee Addict wants to do this is because he doesn't want the big breeder to suspect things, I guess. I mean, they don't want to draw too much attention either. And so that's why Coffee Addict is suggesting this happens. And basically, one of the groups will look for Kun Edwan. More specifically, Team B will do that. And Team A, which consists of Bomb and Co., they will be the ones going into the other land to search for their companions. So basically, to kind of provide a little spoiler out here now, it's Candy and that other girl. I can't remember her name at the moment, but that's who they're going to try and find. So anyway, I thought it was really cute and funny because Rock just freaks out and he's like, what? He's like, why am I on Team B? I'm the leader of Team A, you foolish turtle. And then Coffee Addict, he's like, is that so? Then you can join Team A too. And Rock is so freaking adorable. He's like, good. And then he freaking dabs, and it's the cutest thing ever. I loved it so much. And Kun, he's so cute. He's thinking here, that Han Sung Yu is a really quick judge of character. So Team A has added a new member, obviously. So Rock is now part of Team A rather than Team B. Team A is heading to the Cold Land, and Team B is going to go to Sweet Castle to find Kun Edwan. So at first when I was reading this, I had misread it. I thought Team A was going to Sweet Castle and Team B to Coldland. And that would have made sense to me because I kind of figured Edwan would be in Coldland. That's what I was thinking. But no, he's going to be in Sweet Castle, which I guess works out both ways. I mean, Edwan is part of the 10 families, obviously, head of a family. And, castle kind of signifies royalty. So I could see that. But I don't know. Coldland just kind of called to me more. I'm like, that sounds more like, more up his alley. But anyway. So moving on here. With Team B stepping foot into Sweet Castle, Edwan would know right away that people have arrived to that, hidden, not hidden floor, but I guess, hidden area. And he's actually willing. He will actually be willing to talk to people, these newcomers, as opposed to other data humans, which I'm not sure exactly what that entails, but that's what Coffee Addict said. And something else that Coffee Addict brought up, which hopefully we'll get more of a backstory on it later on, but it turns out he made a promise to Edwan, but he's not revealing it just yet. So, like I said, hopefully we get more background on that. But anyway, the two teams will go their separate ways. All right, so then we go back to Rachel. She actually missed out on getting on board this whole teleportation thing, as she herself called it. Everyone had disappeared by the time she got there. And soon she actually gets disconnected from that world. And it turns out it is Big Breeder's doing. So she gets upset with him. She tells him to turn the VR thing back on because she hasn't finished what she's done. Like, she hasn't gotten her teammate yet. And, Big Breeder insists that he will get in trouble and it could end him. So, like, he refuses to turn this system back on. And then he goes on to say, if another Big Breeder finds out about this, I'm dead. And so Rachel's like, Big Breeder? And then Big Breeder is like, yeah, do you think I like being trapped here and just peering into that place? All I'm doing is carrying out the task that King Zahard assigned to me. You might be able to just leave this floor if you get caught, but I'll disappear forever. Again, what I was mentioning earlier. So this is the part where Rachel says, what do you mean? Tell me in more detail. And so he heaves a sigh and he's like, you should have listened to me from the start. Originally, I used to be a data human living in that world. One day, I was summoned by King Zahard and sent here, and since that day, I've been acting as the Big Breeder that rules that place. But there was a condition. I'm never allowed to leave this building where I live. In fact, not a single person lives in this building, and you can't even interfere or enter from the outside, as if it's another dimension. I tried several times to leave this place, but I failed. Of course, it's not an unlimited condition, so if I faithfully perform this role and the next Big Breeder is chosen, I can leave this place. But the problem is that there are 2 other Big Breeders aside from me. And then she's like, huh? 2? Big Breeder goes on to say, yeah, we don't know each other very well, but they serve the same function as me, but we're in completely different positions. Those 2 have actually been Big Breeders much longer than me, so they're like my superiors. I'm just a lowly administrator managing that place. Those 2 are the real rulers. They have tremendous power, and they seem to know King Zahard well. Anyway, if those 2 find out that you're here, I'm finished. Since we don't know each other, they may not notice if you log in with the machine like before, but if you try to bring other people over to this world using that device, you'll get caught right away. If so, you will all be kicked out of this place, and I'll disappear from the floor forever. So Rachel gets into thinking mode. She's like, so let me get this straight. Big Breeder refers to the guys who have those machines, and there are 2 more of those Big Breeders here. Those 2 seem to be higher ranking than this guy. Anyway, basically, I can't run into them. They won't allow me to bring someone over here from that world, nor would they allow me to be here. So, unlike those other guys, the reason that Big Breeder kept me here... And so she tells him to his face, you kept me here because you want to get out of this place. He's just like shocked with her sudden claim. And so then she continues, you want to escape from here right now, but you can't. And you saw that unlike other people, I was able to come to this place. So you wanted to use that power to get yourself out of here, right? And then he's like, well, and then she's kind of waiting for him to go on, and eventually he's like, how about we make a deal? Or I don't really know if it's her or him that asks that, but that's where we leave off with them. But basically what I got from this interaction between them and based on all that Big Breeder was saying, I feel that Big Breeder is one of those misunderstood villains, and so you can't help but feel bad for him and even start to root for him. I know he's done some horrible things, but I mean, defying King Zahard's orders would have probably cost him his life, right? So, I mean, I don't know if there's like some kind of threat behind all this. So, maybe like Battis, he has his own family or something and their lives could be threatened, or, he's scared for his life too. So, hopefully there's more of a backstory for Chung, and hopefully we get to see that later on. So that was kind of my conclusions from that. So I feel like Big Breeder is starting to grow on me. At first I was kind of indifferent about him. I didn't hate him, but I was indifferent. And now I'm just like, he's kind of cool. And like, again, I love his interaction with Rachel. Like, I really love like the comedic side to it. So yeah. Moving on, we go back to Bomb and Co. And they have already arrived to the Cold Land, which is really funny because I love this part. Because Kun just keeps talking about like, oh, it's a bit cold here. And he's just like shivering and like holding himself. And I'm like, oh, Kun. It's just so cute. So they do hear something further up ahead. So down that pathway, again, is Candy and the other girl. And they're completing a quest right now to try and clear this stage so they can move on to the next one. But for some reason, it's not working. And their big breeder, he looks like this. He offers to help them beat the quest, which, is total bullshit, of course. I mean, you look at his face here, it's like, I would not buy into anything that he would say. I would trust Chung more than this dude. So, yeah, my thought, I guess, was maybe with these newcomers, so Kun and Co. have just arrived to Coldland, so maybe he's gonna try and tell these two girls, like, hey, take them out. Like, they're the real threats and the real enemy of this stage, even though it's a bunch of crap. But, maybe he'll have them do that. Of course, they would refuse to do it because those are their companions, so yeah. We'll see what happens later on. I was gonna kind of say that, maybe it'll be a repeat of Kun's quest when Chung was their big breeder and telling them like, hey, complete this quest so then like the quarantine area can just, be thrown into the underground, and that's where Bomb was. So I was kind of thinking, okay, maybe, Kun and Co will get caught in some trap, and then what's her name, Candy, and the other girl, like, they would have to, like, eliminate this threat thing where Kun and Co are. But, I mean, I don't think there would be, like, a repeat of that exact scenario. So, but it was something that came to mind. But maybe something similar like that could happen. I don't know. We'll see. These big breeders are sketchy, so. All right. So, this part right here, guys, I'm excited. The last part, the best part of the whole chapter, mind you. All right, so the other group has made it to Sweet Castle. And there's this guy just chilling, eating some grapes, and he gets a call, and it says, Father, I think some outsiders have broken into the hidden stage. And oh man, I'm fangirling hard, guys. I'm fangirling hard because we get to see Kun Adwan. We get to see Kun Adwan, guys. I mean, look how gorgeous this man is. Okay? And yeah, so the last panel of this chapter is his beautiful, gorgeous face. And he's asking, is that so? So he's pretty stoked that some people have come onto this stage. And gosh, he's gorgeous, guys. I can't. He looks a lot like Kun. So my thought was like, okay, when Kun gets older, he's gonna look a lot like the Daddy Kun, the original, the OG Daddy Kun. So yeah, but enough of my fangirling. I'm really curious to know who the voice on the other side is. So my first thought was Maria for some reason, because I think it would be cool for Kun Aguro at some point to meet up with his sister if she has a data human here. Because he helped Maria become a princess, and, like, he obviously has a lot of admiration for her. So I think that would be a good candidate for this kid who's on the phone with the Daddy Kun. Moschini was also someone I had thought of. So I think it would be really cool to see like a younger version of Moschini, since we already know what she looks like. She's gorgeous. All of them are gorgeous. I mean, let's be real. Very gorgeous family. And then like my last thought was like, what if it's some other Kun family member? I think that would be really cool. I even just thought about Blueberry right now, aka Hachuling. That could have been like his younger version, before he left to join Woolhake Song. But yeah, I think it would be cool to meet another member of the Coon family. So maybe that kid on the line is someone new. The last thing I do want to cover is I was looking through some of the comments on Webtoons, and a lot of people were commenting about the rock dub. The tongue twister, guys. The rock dab. A lot of people really loved that part. And I know there was one comment here. It's like the top comment. And they're like, did Rack dab when he was able to be part of Team A? Oh my god, this is why he is the best. Parentheses, along with the mastermind Coon, of course, and the OP bomb. End parentheses. So there was that one, and a few others similar to it. And then, of course, others who were commenting about Daddy Coon, how hot he is, how beautiful he is. And then, of course, there's the one comment, the one person who makes, like, the best comment of all time. So this is Remembery. Very cool username, dude. Or dudette. Basically, they say, y'all talking about how hot Coon's dad is, but why nobody mentioned that the big breeder is a fucking furry? So, yeah, that takes the cake for best comment. Sorry, guys, about Daddy Coon and the dab, but that one takes the cake. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it. Let's see. Recapping here. Yeah, so like I said before, Big Breeder is probably just misunderstood. I know he did some bad things, but, obviously has his reasons. Obviously is saying if he defies any order from King Zahard, he's done for. So there's that. And it sounds like he really wants to escape the hidden floor, but he can't. So, that's kind of a bummer. So that's why, not that I've had a change of heart, but like I mentioned before, I didn't have anything against him, and now I'm kind of leaning more toward like, hey, he's just misunderstood, kind of feel bad for him, kind of hope he can get out of there. And I mean, hey, he could definitely add, like, I don't know, some kind of cool assets to Bomb's team if they end up meeting again later on. And then, of course, we met the daddy, which is beautiful. And like I said, I'm really curious to know who was on the other side of the line. And, maybe we'll encounter them later on. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.